Wednesday. Peugeoting.
Peugeot.
Right. The world may not have noticed, but we have now painted the Peugeot twice, haven't we?
We have.
So this is attempt number 2, because we painted the Peugeot with...
The proper colour?
Well, it was supposed to be the proper colour. So basically this is Aztec Gold, isn't it? Which comes into deeply confusing, because Aztec Gold then becomes... Because it's got like a crossover paint code, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Aztec Gold crosses over for the rest of the world, that's not us, as Peugeot Beige Mayfair something, Mayfair Beige. It's an ECN paint code.
Yeah.
So we bought a big tub of Peugeot ECN, which looked very gold.
Yeah.
Colour tested it against the car, it looked very gold.
Yeah.
Painted it.
It looked completely different.
It didn't look very gold, did it?
Didn't
It looked very
gold.
silver.
Yeah.
So we had to park it specifically for the last week until we've been, so Al spent an hour and a half in the paint place in good old Rainbows, and bless them for doing that, because they mixed us up some more ECN.
Which was the same as what we already had.
But apart from the fact that I think they were having a bad Monday, because what we got was blue.
Yeah.
Or we got a tin with the wrong no label on it. Then we got back here and then we was very confused. Then we went back yesterday and we took a lump of car, a tub of ECN that we already had, of Mayfair Beige, that is Aztec Gold in the UK, but Mayfair Beige all the way through the rest of Europe and the United States of America. Then we got then we got them to mix up the correct Aztec Gold, which looked slightly more like the colour, but was still a bit silvery ready.
Yeah.
So then we got the bit of car and a spectrometer, or a spectro as they call it.
Yeah.
So we spectroed the colour, which then came back very close to a Hyundai Gold. We had a look at that, that was a bit gold. So we decided to go all out with the spectro mix.
Yeah.
And then we've had more colour mixed in the spectro mix, rubbed it all down, apart from the back wing reacted, and we've had to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Because it's being Peugeot.
It's being, it was doing...
It is now the right racing gold.
It's the right colour.
It is, so finally it matches. Not that any of you may have noticed that it didn't match, because we took some skillful photographs, but now when you come to collect it, if you win it, thank Christ.
Yeah.
It's quite a difficult colour, because obviously it's got 25, 30 years worth of fade on it. And there weren't many painted in racing gold. It was only the Porsche 205s. But anyway, so we are racing gold out. We have where is the new old stock?
We have new old stock.
We have done quite well there, haven't we?
We have.
So we managed to go on the eBays, because obviously we are now missing a pinstripe front and rear. So using the brilliance of eBay, we managed to find like a 1995 new old stock. You know the ones that used to hang when you went in your motor parts place? They used to have a rack full of little round cartridgey things, bit of cardboard hooked up with these pinstripes in it. Found one of them, and it is absolutely perfect.
So we have.
You've ruined it by opening it, haven't you? So we have the pinstripey, so that's going on today. And then we have to clean it to death, and it needs to go for an MOT test, because obviously the raffle is due on the 6th, and the 6th is next week, someone.
Yep.
So we're getting close. Go buy more tickets. We're doing well, we're quite well on ticket sales. We're over the 500 marks. Nice, probably 1,000 would be better. Not being greedy, but yeah. So by then we will have cleaned all the alley wheels. Today we are going full-scale Peugeot cleaning. We've got speakers to fit, gas struts to fit, because the tailgate still attacks you, doesn't it? We've got those.
It's a violent tailgate.
Tailgate. The correct new battery, which I've charged back up again. And then we need to reposition one of the fog lamps, because it doesn't point in the right direction.
Yep.
Okay, go through and make sure we've oiled, lubricated and checked on everything, so it is perfect and ready for its new owner. I found the logbook, did that the other week.
Yep.
And we need to find out where that bit of trim goes, even if that bit of trim is out of this car. It's been fully free floating in it since I got it. It's like a piece of insulation. Don't quite know where that goes. And then we also need to find the clip for the fuse box, because every time you open the glove box, the fuse box comes to say hello, because they had that little clip. That's gone missing. Oh. Not by us, it was missing when I got it.
I'm sure we can find something.
So yeah, that's probably half the reason that the glove box had to have a bolt on it, because the fuse box is jumping out.
Yeah.
So we'll fix on that. And then what other exciting things have we done? I've conquered the world's free phase.
He has.
Yes, without dying.
Yes.
So we've had compressor issues for a bit of a while, so I've figured out how the slow start delta timer, the multi-relay, contacted pressure controlled device for the massive compressor out the back that's broken, works. And then I have rewired and reinstalled the backup compressor after Dom stopped it from automatically starting when we had the other one, but instead of just turning the auto start off, he took it all apart and did it, because he obviously didn't see the bit that said auto or manual. So we've got the auto start back on that until the other one is back alive. And then we've got engine parts, they're all here. And we've got quite a lot to do. We have Obiorn and Janet's Mercedes, which is, ever since dear old Obiorn passed away, his Mercedes has either gone into mourning and all it seems to do is now pack up continuously. Yeah. So we're having a bit of a fettle on that. The bearded Explorer is due because he's broken his W202 by parking it up. So, and then you will see the nose of James Road to Rust's bloody red thing back again, because it broke down on him the next day. We would like to point out that was nothing to do with us. It was given strict instructions that the fuel gauges were a bit hit and miss, because they were all, as you will have known, full of rust and nastiness. So my words to him were, I've put 20 quid's worth of petrol in it. You're going to need, because the gauges haven't moved in ages, and we'll see if we can get them to sort of jolly up a bit, put a load of fuel in it and drive it round. So
I think he just heard drive it around.
I think he just drive it around. So what he successfully managed to do, not that we're calling him an idiot, is to drive it all the way from here to Portsmouth and drive it around the next day on the 20 quid's worth of petrol that we put in it. And then when it broke because it had run out of fuel, with the fuel gauge recording quarter of a tank, because they're a bit sticky and needed lots of fuel sloshing in there to sort of jolly them up. So it came back here. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with it until we took the tank pipes off yet again to find the fuel tank was completely empty. So as we told James, he's an idiot. Car dealers, they just have fuel aversion, don't they? So I mean, it's pretty well to get from here, because I reckon we'd used for $5's worth of that petrol, leaving it ticking over and moving it around.
I reckon
so it got from here to Portsmouth and round the next day on 15 quid's worth of petrol. That's not even like bad, 3 gallons. Yeah. It's what, two. I don't know, what's petrol at the moment? 130 something?
Yeah. 150.
So it's probably 10 or 12 litres. That's not bad going. Anyway, so we've now rectified this by making James go and buy a new fuel gauge, because we're not playing this game again. Sod the other one coming around. So he's got a new fuel gauge, a new fuel strainer pickup, because that had died again. And a pipe that I broke trying to figure out what was wrong with it, because there wasn't anything wrong with it, because it had just run out of petrol. Because he's an idiot.
Silly
Billy. But we do like him. But
we do like him. He's lovely.
He's all right. He's not a bad lad, but he wasn't very popular that day. You were like, you bellend. And phoned him up and said, did you put any, when I told you to put petrol in it? Right, yes, you took no notice of that whatsoever. None. Right, let's drink tea, and then I might go and show him my engine. Okay. Because I've got half of me bits for my T5? No. For my LT35 engine explodey build engine out of 2 engines, 3 engines, engine building. We have completed Timothy's engine. He just hasn't picked it up yet because he really needed that. He was on our case, and then we did it a week ago, and he's still sat there.
Quiet.
That's fine.
Timmy, come get your engine.
Yeah, Timmy, come get your engine. And then what else have we got to do? I think that's about it, really. Well, we've got a million things we have to do. We have. We haven't acquired any more treasure. No. Not yet. No, I've been resisting. Everything's been too expensive. Yeah. Well, I thought while I was here, I might as well explain my three-phase brilliance. So you won't have seen, obviously, this bit out the back of here, but this is a 35 CFM, big twin piston, massive whopper of an air compressor that basically runs this entire place normally in its tin shed, tucked away out the back, so you don't have to listen to it. Controlled by, this is obviously turned off. So this is 3 phases plus a, have we got a negative? Yes, we have. So 3 phases, 415 volts. The juicy stuff that makes you go a bit. And midway through the year, one day, it turned itself off and wouldn't turn itself back on again. Now, I'm no electrician. I have a reasonable understanding of it, So I decided that we sort of had a bit of a check, because this thing has what's known as a delta timer on it. Because, this is where it gets terribly confusing, this motor is split in two, so instead of having like just 3 phases in, so 415 volts, it has 3 phases one side of the motor and 3 phases the other. So slow start, then up to speed. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You were like, oh, dark magic. And then, so what it does is it brings these are the 2 main motor contactors. This is the shutdown contactor for it shutting off when it's up to pressure and turning back on again, we think, because I've got no book or nothing, and there's nothing anywhere from Clark to tell you how all this lot works. So we were assuming the most likely fail point is the contactors did seem all right, because you can obviously push the contactors with a screwdriver, being very careful with an insulated one, and we could sort of get it to fire up, but the middle one was a bit icky, but we assumed that was probably because we were poking it with a screwdriver. So we assumed that the delta timer, which is this, would be at fault. So because the delta timer, what it does, so it's got a very simple wiring diagram on this delta timer, is that basically it's got a live and a neutral coming into it, obviously, but it's only running, I think, on this one on 1 phase at 110-ish volts, and then it's like a timer, so it's got two feeds coming out, one of which is instantly live as you turn the thing on, which throws this contactor here to bring 1/2 of the motor in. And then, depending on what you set this, because you can set it glasses on between 1.5 and 30 seconds of delay, which is this openable switchable circuit here, running this wire here, which then brings the other side of the motor in to bring it up to full yompy. So as it sort of went and then blew all the fuses, we assumed that this was the problem. So obviously they don't make this TK 5-star delta timer anymore, so we had to get this one. This one, which has not quite as simple a wiring diagram on it, and has confused me at current. So we sort of thought, right, we did figure out how to plumb this in, and it didn't make no difference, and then smoke started coming out of the middle one. We were like, right, that might be the problem then. So we gingerly took the new bit back off, put it back in its box, put this beside it, and thought we'll get to that at a later date, which was yesterday. So at current, I have found the problem, which was the contactors being nosed on the centre main contactor. The points had basically, after all these years, just evaporated. So what it was actually doing was phase number 2 was continuously live as soon as you switched it on without any jollying from your delta timer. So as soon as you flicked the switch, before the delta timer did anything, it was trying to turn on one of the 3 phases on one side of the motor. And it didn't like that. That was what was causing the smoke, and then it all went to hell basically as soon as it tried to do its slow speed startup thing. So I have managed to acquire off of Evil Bays again, because obviously this thing is mid to late 90s, a new contactor to go and replace the one that, but equal matching, because obviously it's got the over switches all clipped on the front of it. And I'm going to have to test this, but I've figured out how to do that now to see if this is working, because I can plumb this into a 240 volt supply on these 2 up here and see what switching comes out and whether it does the switchings. If it does, we'll use this, because this one, yeah, I mean there's about 40 combinations on this one, so we'll keep that as a spare if this one works. If this one doesn't work, we'll have to figure the wiring diagram back out again for this one. And then, so basically we've had to sort of isolate the supplies, because if you touch them, that life could be a bit juicy. And obviously move the shed forwards, undo this off the wall at the back, because it's on an insulated board to stop you dying, because if it does tin shed, boom, yeah. So that put me to the backup compressor, which I'm going to go and show you now, which had become a dormant thing left in a corner. It's an old Ingersoll Ran from like the late 50s, early 60s. Which we never use because it's inside this noisy, it's old, but that has now become the workshop's main chugga supply for a bit, so we had to do some work on that. I would like to point out the grunty noises in the previous piece of video footage explaining the outside compressor is Fudge in here grunting lying under a car with his microphone turned on until he realised he was turning it off. It isn't any pervy thing because you do hear him in the background go, yeah, it's not going, So he's now turned that off, so that'll explain the last bit that might be a bit strange. So this is another exciting corner of the workshop that you won't have seen because it's buried behind a load of stuff. This is the backup compressor. Now, when we took this place over, this was abandoned, unplumbed in a corner. So, I mean, you can tell it's been quality kept because it's got one belt of the two on it. It is Ingersoll Rand. We did get it going. I have got 2 new belts for it. I've just never got around to putting them on quite yet. I might do that if I get 5 minutes today. Because we never use it normally. It just sort of sat here. So we got it going. We changed the oil in the compressor, greased the motor, had a bit of a look at the wiring. And we did have it sort of plumbed up as backup, but we never needed it as backup because the other one, which is behind this wall, hadn't broken. So Dom plumbed the other one up, which meant he took every single 3-phase box off the wall and then never quite got around to putting it back on again. I will just remove this yellow thing which is slung around the big switch. Now this switch here is the kill switch for the one out the back. So at the moment this is over the top of it so that no one turns it on. Strict instructions given. So obviously in a big workshop like this, we've got an air main, which is this blue pipe rising up here that goes all the way around the outside of the inside of the inside of the outside of the inside of the shed, inside of the shed, with a load of droppers on it and a load of air points. Now, this was wired up, but never sort of plumbed in because it didn't use it. We didn't need extra air. So when it all went to hell, we very, very quickly. Dom had disabled the auto start on this. So the auto start is the fact that when this shuts down, when it's up to pressure, originally it would have clicked back in again as soon as the pressure dropped, and then it starts chuddering away and building air. But we turn that off because it's in the same loop technically as the other compressor outside, and you didn't need 2 running. So I've fixed that. I figured out what Dom did, so it's now back auto starting. So I've had to do some temporary plumbing to plumb it in because this is what's known as an air dryer. So this air dryer, I can't remember, it's an American make, it's very good. So basically the problem you'll find with air in workshops, and especially when it comes to painting stuff, is that the air coming out of this compressor is hot, and as soon as it hits the nice cool workshop air main or an air line or an air tool, the water in the moisture in the air instantly turns into water, and then you end up with water coming out of your air tool, which is not really what you want when you paint the car, because then it's throwing water at things or it's throwing water out the air tool. So what you have is one of these. So this is an air dryer. This is a separate air dryer, which has been it was on a stand here for ages because it was originally designed to sit on these little feet. But that's a crap idea because it falls over all the time and trying to restrain it, and it's got these, there were 3 of these, I've slimmed it back down to these massive water separators which are automatic hanging off the side of it, which catch. So this is like a little air conditioning unit. So basically what it's doing is cooling the air coming in out of this compressor tank here, and then any moisture coming out is caught before it gets into the air main. So it's like a little switchy on thing. So if I go, you see it, and then it auto blows. And these are designed to auto blow. That's a manual dump. This is a pressure driven one. So there's no pressure in the mornings. What it does is it comes up as it empties itself and then shuts itself off. Not that you need to know that. So we'll turn that back off again because we don't need the air dryer on today. So last night, took me till 9 o'clock. I have put all the boxes back in the correct places. Now I do need to put a cap in there to stop anyone sticking their fingers in it. I'm doing that today. And I do need to put some belts on, so we are back up and running air-wise. I've got to put the 3-phase cable, which is coming off a big switch box over there, on the wall properly out of the way. And I'm sort of quite proud of my ingenuity, so that will keep us going for a minute until the bits turn up for the one out the back, and then this will become spare again, but at least we can turn it off here. And what I am going to do is just tee it in so that we use this as an extra air tank, which won't hurt, give us a bit more air before the more air storage, and then we're all in the right places. That took me till 9:30 last night. I'm quite tired. but I'm reasonably impressed. I know I am no electrician, so I am a farmer, or I was. So, but it's sort of there. I've got a load of clips, bits and bobs, so if an electrician, don't shout at me. It's safe enough for a minute. And then once it's all back up and running, we'll get all this cabling back where it's supposed to be, and then work on it from there. So, on other things, you'll notice hanging off of this engine stand here is a 2.5 TDI with a selection of gaskets gingerly propped on top of it. Let me put them over here. So this, you will have seen the other day if you were watching the last video, is the replacement block crank to replace that one over there out of that big Luton van we bought the other week that had got a main cap fell out of it. So this engine, known history, came out of a van, 06 plate, very, very last of the LT35s, belonged to Salisbury Glass, I think. And the cam belt snapped at 58,000 because they'd had it for 10 years and never changed it. And what it tends to do when the belts snap on an LT35 is they are an interference engine, so things beat into each other. So it doesn't tend to damage the block. What it does tend to do is, let me go and see, have I thrown them away yet? No, I haven't. Is it does a bit of a wallery whacker on a piston if you get unlucky. Now, if you look at the crown of that piston there on this, so this is the injector swirl port, basically, in the inner cylinder one for a direct injection diesel. And you'll see the valve imprint there, obviously where all 9 misses nicely, and then it didn't miss nicely. So it's got a big chunk knocked off the inside the piston. Doesn't touch the outside, doesn't squeeze the rings up, hurt them or anything like that. So this thing, when it went kaboosh, had done number 1, number 4 and number 5 were damaged, number 2 and number 3 were good. But I could chuck a bit of really ancient video footage in. If I can find it, I'll do that now. This is our 06 long wheelbase. What was a 109 LT with a blown engine, which has now got a Mercedes 603 turbo diesel that we acquired in Europe, bolted in it, all on factory bits, as you will see. And we've got it trigged up so it will start and run. And first attempted move, and I'm going to see if we can get it in the workshop so I don't have to keep lying underneath it in the wet. It's all a bit exciting. As you can see, the remote oil fill housing is not terribly practical at current, and the throttle is a bit interesting, but we'll give it a go on with that. Right, here we go again. So in theory we are in first, and I take the handbrake off. One might be third. That's third. We are off. Anyway, we're all a bit excited because we haven't got a radiator. It thinks we've missed a key, and the engine management light is having a complete muppet. But there you go, 603 running in an LT. Well, we're back again. So you'll see that I converted the van that this engine was in and put a massive great Mercedes diesel engine in it, like you do. So I was never worried about repairing this because I didn't need it or want it. So I took the engine and gearbox clean out, Volkswagen, swapped the gearbox for a Mercedes 291, clamped a Mercedes 603 turbo diesel, a European left hooker one in it, was a big rods turbocharger, opened the pump up and made this spectacularly fast, silly, racer suspension, jacked up LT35 super long wheelbase van with a massive roof rack. Someone's just right, dealt with the postie. So obviously I took this out of that van because the cam belt snapped and it had some damaged pistons. We didn't need it because we put something else in it, so it's been sat on a shelf for 5 years. So you'll have seen this the other day, get this out, clean it out, and it had as I explained a minute ago, some damaged pistons. Now what I've done, I had a full set of pistons and com rods out of another nice no mileage engine stored, because we put stuff away. So these are 5 equal weighted, equaled good little ended pistons. I've chucked a set of rings on them, I've honed the bores, and I've slotted them back in. So they're all bolted in the bottom. We've given the block a bit of a sprucey up when it was right stripped down, cleaned all the accessories up, so all the mounting brackets. This is the pump mounting bracket, and then obviously we have the gaskets there. I am about to start hitting into it, but I am waiting on the delivery of one part, which is a brand new sump gasket for it, which has sort of brought me a bit to a halt. So as soon as the sump gasket turns up, we'll have a video on whoosh, we need a sump gasket, and I think we're missing the new cam belt kit, which is on its way as well, because obviously cam belt kit, bottom end is beautiful, new to piston rings, new head gasket, full set of top end seals, so like your camshaft seal, your rocker covers, all of your water jacket gaskets. I have even cleaned and poshly high temperature painted the exhaust manifold. Look at that, shiny. I've got away over all the turbocharger, I've got some bits to rebuild that, and then all of this back together, beautiful clutch. We're going to get the clutch redone. That's tucked. Where is the clutch? It's here somewhere. I think it's over there. Ready to go in. The gearbox we know is to be good, so we'll scooch that back on here, and then there'll be a video of this going back together, going back in that LT, and then we've got a little bit more work, and she'll be somewhere near ready to be sold. Right, what else have we done? So, Project Peugeot. Fudgy, as you would see, even though we had just put all the... We decided that we just quickly, because these speakers is cack. They are the original Peugeot ones, but they're rubbish, so we fitted some Ken Woods. One that side, so Fudgy's just putting this back together, and then we're going to go mad cleaning on it. We need to check on the front door speakers, because we've got replacement there. So if you get this car, top quality stereo sound from the 90s, baby. So I think we'll call that rubbish. That can go over there. And then we'll have a look at the inside. So you will see, look, new pinstripe fitted. New pinstripe, old pinstripe, new pinstripe. Perfect match. So obviously we have got to polish, and we are just awaiting the arrival of a piece of wing mirror glass for the other side, which was quite a thing to find. And then we have some annoyances to fix. Do with the little pins that hold the door stays sorting out, and then we are into cleaning on the inside. So we're going to bring you in here now. Oh, that bit wants a bit of reattachment there. That's fixed. Fudge is on speakers. I'm going to go possibly on some hoovering. Then we need to take this massive great truck battery back out of here and put the new one we bought in it. All of this under here is good and all done and serviced. Headlights, everything. New wipers. New fuel filter housing, new cam belt, new fluids, new calipers, good brakes. We just need to check the rear brakes, because obviously it's been sat a while, so I'm going to scooch the wheels off for that. And then the phone's going to ring. Thank you.
Why am I saying thank you?
I don't know why you're saying thank you, especially in a different language. It's not, yeah.
It's a long
right. Day. So after a day, we've been besieged by people with broken stuff. The Peugeot is, to all intents and purposes, done. So we're going to try and get an MOT Friday morning, I think.
Yeah.
We just need the bit of mirror glass to turn up. That's the only thing missing.
She's good to go.
And I need to figure out that crank sensor rev counter thing. So it might come with a working rev counter, it might not. Why would you just wire it off an alternator? But anyway, I don't know. So what we might do for a minute is show the people the clean brownness of the inside.
I don't know if that's actually brown.
What colour were you thinking?
I'm thinking it's grey, but then it could be my eyes.
I think you might have. I mean, I know you did used to smoke a dope, but that's brown, mate. Or I'm colour blind.
I'm sorry, because that's grey.
That's brown.
Is that brown?
That's definitely brown.
Jeez, I smoked
we could have like
back in the 60s.
We could have like a poll. Well, we go and get the camera, then they can all have a look. See whether
I think you are right. Actually, I think I've just.
I'll go and get a camera. Open the doors up, Fudgy.
I think I've just gone like.
I think you've had too long a day.
Yeah, Yeah.
Right, so we're going to go for the grand tour of a Peugeot, so you know what you're getting. Look at all of that clean and shiny definite brownness. Note, I don't know whether you can see it, the bits of green snooker tablecloth cut to fit in the glove box has got one, and we'll worry about the glove box, and also the little cubby hole, very reg. We have fitted it with a full set of Kenwood and Pioneer speakers for the boomies, not cutting the holes in anything, obviously. No. So 5 seat belts, look, for the children, unworn carpets, windy windows that won't go wrong.
Keeps you
I mean,
fit.
my favourite thing that I don't quite understand is how Peugeot managed to fit the windy windows so it goes into the door pockets. I never quite understood. Yeah, it's both sides, so it's
I don't. Well, you'd expect them up here.
Yeah, I can't see that someone's taken the electric windows out because there aren't any electric window switches. So I think she came like that. That might have been a bit of a design foobar there.
I wonder how many people actually crashed in these trying to
undo the windows, go on the side slide. Original Peugeot gear knob, original Peugeot steering wheel. Well, so we've got a couple of old boy dings we're leaving. So there's a bit of reg there. There's a little one there, and there is a reg on that front wing. You can just see it on the front there. But if that's the worst of the wounds, we've repainted the bonnet in the correct colour because the lacquer was rubbish. We have removed Reginald's hand paint job on the wing because it looked awful. So, but there we go, look. She is as clean as a whistle. You'll note the brass securing bolt for the glove box. That's double backup. Vintage. And then I think there are some little brass tangs you'll see up there that are extra supporting the sliding sunroof for some reason. We don't quite understand why. It's only the sunroof cover. And then go back round this side, more brown. That's definitely not grey, it is brown. And I mean, she is clean, and she's equally as clean in the boot. Original, so Ashbourne Motors on the rear number plate, Ashbourne Motors in the rear window. Obviously an RNLI sticker.
Stop.
Coded stereo that's coded somewhere that isn't here, because that's the JVC one that was in it when we got it. And then, I think we did manage to save the Ashbourne Motors front number plate by sticking it back together again. So technically, that
done.
Well, apart from cleaning all the goo off the glass.
Yeah.
We've got to do the glass, polish the car.
Yeah.
And then we're going to book her in for an MOT test on Friday, hopefully. And then she's ready to go for the 6th.
Yeah. So remember,
I'm going to take that
6th,
stupid
the
crank.
6th is the last. The
6th is the day it's drawn.
So it's drawn on the 6th, so you're going to want your tickets by the 5th latest,
yeah, 5th, 6th. I don't know, it'll tell you, won't it?
Yeah. So
So
get your
basically,
tickets.
if you want a shiny Peugeot, we're going to shiny shit the bumpers once it dried off. She's going to be gleaming.
Shiny. It's dazzling.
Dazzling, giving away one of my cars I don't want to part with.
She's turned out nice.
It has turned out nice. I mean, if you think the hours we put into it. So, we've rebuilt both sides of the boot floor.
Yep.
Both drops behind the rear bumper.
Yep.
Chunk of the rear valance, as far as I can remember. It's a good job I fixed the auto start on that compressor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just flick the switch off on the wall.
Yeah.
I'll just edit this bit out because everyone's going to be deafened now.
Hang on, just going to get to the wobble a minute.
Have I put a load of crap in the way as well?
So much stuff here. Right. Flicker off there.
Ah, it's much nicer when the outside one works because you can't hear it.
I didn't realise there was an engine here, and I just walked
you know, I'd been moving stuff around earlier.
beat my balls against the engine stand.
And we don't want to know what you're doing with your balls with my engine stand.
Oh,
It's just child friendly, you know. Have you survived?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I proper beat myself into that fucking thing.
So yeah, MOT Friday. Final bit. I'm going to see if I can make the rev counter work. So you might get a car with the rev counter work, you might not, because I don't know whether I'll be able to get that sensor if that's the cause of the problem.
Yeah.
I'm sure it used to work. So yeah, Reginald's pride and joy. So definitely a random video, and then we are on to the next. So the next will be as soon as this is done, and I'll put the 308 up. And then we've got a month to make that lovely. It's nothing like a bit of
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So we were halfway through a discussion on how much we'd done to this. So
Yeah.
the first thing I did, there are some videos, and what I will do is link all of these together, put them into a, they call it like a series thing. I don't know. It's where you click some buttons and do some stuff. And then from the beginning, because the first thing we did when I got this, the back axle trumpet on that side was collapsed and C-solid.
Yeah.
That was a lot of beating. So it's had a new axle trumpet. This one pulled out, that one pulled out, new bearings, and it's all done. So that's a lovely. Then you and I took the fuel tank, the back axle,
Yep.
all the exhaust out of it, didn't we?
Exposed
Seats.
all the stuff.
Seats, and then we've repaired all the seals on the outside where they were thin.
Yeah.
All the inner seals. It's had a inner wheel arch made this side. It's all sealed up.
Yeah.
As I said a minute ago, both sides of the boot floor were crap, weren't they? We've done that, sorted it all out, and you wouldn't know we'd been there.
Yeah. The part where the toe and eye joins onto that was evaporated.
That had evaporated, so we made that.
One of those.
It's had the brakes gone through. All the brake pads are good. It's got a brand new caliper this side and a pretty much new caliper that side that was already on it. It has covered 100 and... Got to do this again. God, that's the only other thing we've got to remember is those annoying clankety things.
Clank, clank.
Clank, clank. She is showing 140,422 miles.
There you go. Low mileage.
Yeah, for its age,
It is
very
a low
much. Yeah,
mileage.
very much low mileage for its age. I think we've got a bit of window trim that will go on there, have we?
Yes, we have. We've
We're
got
going
one
to
of
go
those.
rob that off one of my 205 doors I've hoarded
Yes.
and polish it to death, MOT it, and then it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you today, but I think I've had enough. I'm tired. And I've got to go home and edit this because we're running behind again, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, strange and random video. We've done 3-phase electrics,
Yeah.
bits of engine spread everywhere.
Yeah.
This is a Peugeot.
Peugeot.
Buy tickets for a Peugeot.
Buy tickets.
Buy tickets. And then we'll be back onto something random for the weekend, I'm sure. So thank you very much. Al, Fudge, 6D Diesels.